Bam. 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 How are you? It is Thursday night, 8:25. That's August 25th, 8 p.m. You are watching the Deerwood Realty live stream show coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm John Shink, your host. Who's John Shink? Well, I am the founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small residential firm. We concentrate mainly on helping buyers buy homes and helping sellers sell theirs. Yeah, that's what I do. That's pretty much every day. And we're going to talk about things that went wrong today because nothing went right. I'm writing it down so I don't screw it up. I have notes, but I forgot to put it on the notes. So that and then municipal. So how are you? What I didn't put out an announcement. As you may know, I'm going to Iowa this weekend, Waterloo, Iowa. So I did not know. I wanted to stream, but I just ate, and I'm quite frankly, sometimes I get tired and I just go into a food coma. I'm hoping that what I ate, I had chicken fajitas. I'm hoping that didn't cause me to just fall over asleep during the show tonight. But I'm not promising anything. Okay. Will I stream tomorrow? I think that's the question everybody wants to know the answer to. I don't know. I'm hoping to be able to stream in the afternoon, but if things happen like they did today, then no, I'm not streaming. Now watch me say that, and then I'm going to end up streaming in the morning. Anyway, the best way, I guess, like, on the big channels, they're like, you should hit the button, the little notification bell, and then you'll know when I'm online. Like, that's what the big channels say. And I don't have enough people that would even, like, all three people would what? And then, so what I'm saying is I don't think that YouTube is intentionally keeping me from notifying my subs that I'm going to be on live, because I mean, it's literally, it's four people. It's four people. So anyway, what do we have tonight? Well, we're going to talk about my day a little bit as far as in the real estate world and things to look out for when buying a home. And I think they're both on buyer side. So yeah, so that all kinds of just garbage, man. Two of them are municipality issues, which irritate me. Got to write it down twice. Showed some houses tonight. Actually showed one. I'll talk about that. Oh, so I just kind of want to relax. The day has been full of blah, if you will. Full of blah. So I guess we'll get into it. The first thing, it's the easiest thing to do, is we can talk about the showing. So for those of you who aren't familiar with St. Louis and Jefferson County and St. Louis County and St. Charles County, there's a place called High Ridge. It's south. And I don't have a problem with High Ridge, but there was a house, and here's my goal. I want you to understand how things go, so that if you're a seller or you're a buyer, you're not surprised. So on Monday of this week, a house was coming soon in High Ridge. Immediately, I got an email from my buyers who were looking in Jefferson County at this price range. They said, hey, we want to see this house. I said, well, that's cool. It goes active Thursday. And they said, well, we'd like to see it Tuesday. I said, well, it doesn't matter. They're not going to let us see it until Thursday. So, okay, well, then let's go Thursday. So that's great. So we went, and here's the thing. Whenever you pull the disclosures, that tells you something. Whenever you use your eyes and some common sense, okay, that's going to tell you something about the house. And so what did I see about the house that was in the pictures that led me to believe this wasn't going to be the house for my buyers? Well, it was very simple. One, the flooring. You may say, well, what do you mean the flooring? Well, it was the cheap flooring. I knew it. But the flooring was going to look really good in pictures, but when you're actually on it, it was going to be. And then I don't know if I told you about this before, but if your master bedroom has steps in it to go to the garage, not many people are going to like that. I mean, somebody will, just not my buyers. And then if it's on a slab, that part of it just didn't go well. It didn't go well, but the house had curb appeal. But anyway, so I kind of knew. Do you realize? I don't know. I was talking to a real estate broker friend of mine yesterday, but we'll kind of go through that too. One of the things that I talked to him about, he's 70 years old, 72 years old, and he's been doing this since the 80s. I said, it's weird. Like, people feel like you're being put out if they want to go see a house. And I was like, I don't look at it that way. It's my job. And then he said, yeah, it is one of the weirdest things. Anytime someone wants to buy a house, I mean, how are they going to buy it without going to take a look at it? So it's my job. Now, if you're making me look at a house that's like $400,000 and you can only afford a $200,000 house, that's not going to happen. Anyway, what I wanted to go and say is, like, as an agent, you realize the chances of somebody actually buying a house that you show on any given night is, like, I'd say probably between 2 and 5%. Like, even houses you think might have a chance typically don't have a chance once the buyers go through. So, I mean, is it a wasted trip today because I already knew that the bedroom was screwy and the floor was going to be bad? Yeah, I know. I'm literally going at this point just because we do pricing. So if we go take a look at this house and say they're asking $250, and then a house comes up down the street next week and they're asking $250, it's a very easy comparison between the two houses. We saw the one, we didn't think it was worth $250. Why would this next one be worth $250? Well, maybe it has a better flooring. Maybe it doesn't have a bedroom that has steps going to the garage. I don't know. But anyway, it's not a waste of time. It's just I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I'm not happy about it. But anyway, we were there, and there was a group that went before us, and then there was another group that was there, and they went through, and it was quite a busy showing, but today was the first day. And so we're out. So of the three, there was another group out. So of the three, there's only one that might put in an offer, and there was, who knows how many other people are going to put an offer or anything like that. But I mean, the odds aren't good. Has the market slowed down here in St. Louis? It hasn't on nice houses. Like, that house is going to get a contract. I don't know if it's going to go way over asking, but they're going to get a contract. Yeah. So that's that. With respect to house design, one of the things that I want you to know about, since you watched the stream, is just check on one thing. Do you know how many houses, at least in St. Louis, at least where I live, do you know how many houses have garages but don't have a door between the garage, an attached garage, but don't have the door between the garage and the house itself? And this is not limited to price. Like, you could have a $500,000 house that's the same way. You need to always check to see if the door goes into the house, or if you have to walk outside to go through the front door to get in your home. It's not a complaint. No one's secretly hiding the fact that there's no door. It's just, if you think like, oh, great, I got a garage and I can take my groceries and walk, if it's raining outside, I can just walk right through the house. Everything's golden. Well, then you're going to be disappointed when the first time you go and try and take your groceries and there's no door to go through. You'd be shocked at how many houses are like that. And it's not a criticism. I don't want you to understand. Like, I'm not trying to kick houses. I'm just saying, you see a garage, you think that it automatically goes into the house, and then it doesn't. So you should pay attention. I was going to talk about this one deal. I'm going to try and talk about it generally because I don't want to irritate the people involved in it. what would you do if you had a house, okay, and you're the seller? Here's what I would think you would want to do. Say you're the seller and you're selling the house, and you know that occupancy inspections are taking quite a bit of time in certain parts of the city or county. Maybe it'd be a good idea to schedule an occupancy inspection with the municipality. I don't know, maybe before you even list it. How are you being hurt? You're not. And when you have to wait to the last minute to get a reinspection, it causes all kinds of issues. Now, let's talk about that. What about some etiquette for the sellers and the buyers? What would be good etiquette for the buyers when they're trying to buy a house? Well, it'd be nice to know when the closing date is. You say, well, it's on the offer, the accepted offer. That's the closing date. Yeah, but we can't close if we don't have everything fixed. So if we don't have an occupancy inspection and a past one, we can't get a permit, and therefore we can't be agreeing to that. So that's going to put a thing. But other things, you're going to need some time to set time with movers. So if you don't know when the closing day, if it's going to close, then now you can't tell the movers when they need to be there. You can't tell a delivery person when they're going to be there. So like, let's say you bought a refrigerator for your new house. Now you don't know when the closing day is. You don't know if it's going to close. Sure would be embarrassing to have your refrigerator sitting outside waiting to get into the house and you having to move it later because you didn't have the right date because you're being held up because of an occupancy inspection. It'd be nice to know when you could schedule your utilities to be in your name. That'd be nice to know. But all those things don't happen when you don't get the occupancy inspection in time. Now you say, well, I don't care. I'm a seller. What do I care? It's absolutely right. What do you care? But just know that when the buyer can't close on the day that you want to that was agreed to, it's on you. It's on you. And you didn't do anything to help really in the deal. You kind of made it worse. So that's what I would say about municipal inspections. Also, like, what are you giving away if you get an inspection early? I had this happen on one of my listings recently. It's like, you need to get an occupancy inspection. And the seller will say, okay. And then you say a week later, hey, did you get the occupancy inspection? They say, oh, no. Well, you need to do that. Week goes by. You need to get an occupancy inspection. House goes under contract. Oh, we need to get an occupancy inspection. So we've wasted maybe 4 to 5 weeks to get an occupancy inspection. And then the municipality says, oh, it'll be 3 weeks before we get out there. 3 weeks to 21 days, and the deal closes in 30. Now we got to scramble around where we wouldn't have had to. And I know what you're thinking. I think a lot of people would say, well, John, you don't want to do the occupancy inspection and then the buyer back out of the deal. Well, why do I care? At least in most of the municipalities around here, you've got 6 months before the occupancy permit is not valid or expires. Sorry, my nose is itching. I have an itch on my head. Hope that wasn't, no, that's not a bug. I was like, hope there is a bug, of course, because I'm live streaming and that's what always happens. But anyway, and then some agents say, well, we don't want to do an occupancy inspection because then we have to disclose what's wrong with the house because we know. And it's like, what's going to be so wrong on the occupancy inspection that you can't get occupancy? I had a house like that. I had a house where we couldn't get occupancy for the seller. And I put the estimate for what it would cost to get occupancy. I put that there was an as-is house and it still had like 10 offers. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen in every market and every time, but just be upfront with people. When you're trying to hide stuff, it really pisses me off as an agent, but it also makes us look all look bad. Now, this house that I saw tonight, I'm not going to say where it is. I said High Ridge, but it's not in High Ridge. I made that up. There was something off about the basement. First of all, there were no drains. That's strange. Then the pergo floor was like kind of falling apart. And in one of the rooms that was a finished room, there was no flooring at all. So did something leak and we forget to mention that? Not to mention when you go outside, there's all this straw and there's all this fresh caulk around the windows. Like, we had a hell of a storm. It's quite possible that this is the first leak these people have ever received. So did that happen? I don't know. I didn't look at the disclosure enough to pay attention because I knew the buyers weren't going to be interested. And of course they weren't. Is it a bad house? No. It's just not the house for my buyers. So we will continue to look. That's kind of the way it is. So that was a municipal inspection that was annoying. I want to tell you about something that happened to me today. And, like, how do I put it? I think some people want to believe that every deal is perfect and it goes through perfect and there's never an issue. And then when I am doing a deal and things go crazy, it's kind of like, well, that didn't go as well as I thought it would. So I told you last week, I'm having appraisal problems and I'm not quite sure why. But the first appraisal problem I ran into last deal I did, the appraisal was for $1,000 less than what we offered. There were comps like in the 250s, and they missed it by 1,000. So lender called the appraiser and said, hey, seriously. And the guy's like, no, I can't change it. No, this is what it is. It's like, really? Really? There's all these comps and you're going to go with this? This is a jerk move. And so I had never had that happen before. So I asked my old real estate broker friend who's been through it all. I said, hey, has this ever happened to you? He said, no. That's a jerk move. I said, yes. Well, I just had one that was even better today. I'm working on a deal where it needs to be appraised and there's an appraisal contingency. Now, I love appraisals. I'm fine with it. I've never been one of those like worried that, if it doesn't appraise, we're in trouble. If it doesn't appraise, we'll go through the appraisal rider and follow the instructions. It's not that hard. But anyway. So the appraisal, what happens is the appraisal gets ordered. Okay. And then you, and then you get a date of when it's going to be. And then they call the seller and they say, hey, it's going to be on this day. And the seller's like, okay, well, come on over. And so you go over, and like we talked about yesterday, like racially motivated bad appraisals and things of that nature. This is not that situation. This is not good though. So they're supposed to have it done today. Okay. They went out to the property on Monday. I say they because I'll just say it's a company. I don't want to get too dicey or too salty, but anyway, I said, hey, today we get an email that says, the appraiser's not gonna do the appraisal. It's like, what? What do you mean? You went to the house, and then now you're not going to give us an appraisal? You're just going to bail? That's exactly what happened today. The appraiser bailed on, and it was due today, and they were just like, yeah, not doing it. Find somebody else. Have you ever had that happen? And then what makes it worse is the company that schedules the appraisers is like, oh, well, we're so sorry. We'll get somebody else out there. And I just saw the date before I got on the live stream, and it's after the appraisal deadline. Well, I say appraisal. It's after the loan commitment, which you have to have an appraisal to get loan commitment. Seriously. I was talking to a friend today. Not, and it's just like, she's like, it's like no one can do their jobs anymore. And I was like, I know. And it's like the institutions have failed us. All of them. We used to believe that everything was like solid and strong and good and stable. And it turns out there's nothing that's good. It turns out when you hand people a bunch of money to not work, they don't work. It turns out that causes inflation. It turns out that maybe giving somebody everything that they want all the time for their entire lives has a negative effect on the rest of society. Maybe. I don't know. It's bad. It's really bad. And it's not I don't think it's going to change for the better. But anyway, it's just incompetence. If you would have told me 20 years ago that an appraiser would pull what they did today, I wouldn't have believed it. I would not have believed it. How in the world would that happen? I mean, I can understand. Look, if an appraiser gets sick, appraiser dies, but just to not do their job, like when they were paid for it, and just to up and not do it, it's just bizarre to me. And so I talked to the listing agent today, and I was like, "Here's what happened." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, yeah. And that guy, the listing agent on this deal, it's very interesting. So, do you want a good working relationship? If you're the buyer's agent and you're working with a listing agent, do you want a good relationship with the listing agent? And I would say 9 times out of 10, yes. The only thing you have to be careful for is that you get such a good relationship that you screw up something in your deal because you're trying to be nice. And so I've been working with this listing agent for a while, and everything's fine. It's good. I like the ability to go back and forth. We had an issue that we ran into today. It looks like we got a better situation because we were able to talk about it. But that's not always the case. Like, I'm dealing a deal right now. The agent doesn't ever talk to me on the phone. I only get a text. And even then, it's like, it's not good. Not good. I don't know. There's a lot more that goes into the real estate game than a buyer or seller is going to notice. Like, if you're doing your job, probably they're not going to notice at all, and that's a good thing. But, I mean, when you hire a listing agent, don't you want them to be responsive to other agents so you could get your house sold? I would think so. But anyway. I need to check one little thing here. Okay, I checked it. I think we'll get into the Google Trends story because I think it's fascinating and I want to go over it in a way, hopefully, that isn't offensive to anyone. But I did want to go over it. So you ready? Okay. Now, and I want you to see how this is framed in the different stories too. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go right here. Bam. Okay, now let's preface this. I don't know who this person is. Gabbie Hanna's home. Gabbie Hanna is apparently a TikToker, but let's just go through it and just kind of see what we're missing here. Okay. So it says LAPD visits Gabbie Hanna's home after she posted a series of disturbing TikTok videos. The social media influencer says she was handcuffed and questioned by a psych evaluation team. Okay. It says, updated, Gabbie Hanna was visited by police. Did they spell Gabbie? Okay, I didn't know if it was an I-E or a Y. It says, Gabbie Hanna was visited by a police officer at LA home Wednesday after the social media star raised serious concerns about her amongst her followers with a string of about 100 bizarre TikTok videos she posted over a 24-hour period. So like each video being 60 seconds long. I mean, that's a lot of video. That's a lot of content. It says, amid her torrent of recent TikToks, Hanna said police had checked on her and left her a wellness card. The LAPD, after receiving multiple calls urging cops to check on Hanna, brought in a psychological evaluation team, which after consulting with her determined she didn't pose a threat to herself or anyone else and allowed her to remain in her home. And that says TMZ reported. Now we have the TMZ report as well. I'll go through that. It says, on Thursday at 9:35 Pacific time, Hanna posted a new TikTok video of herself in the hot tub. Her first uploaded nearly 24 hours. In text overlaid on the video, she claimed she was cuffed and detained by 5 officers who busted into my house through the back door because I exercised my free speech and religion. They then sent 2 psych evaluation specialists who almost dragged me off to a hospital, but luckily I'm smart, educated, kind, and brave. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Over another video, shortly afterwards, she wrote, "Thank you, officers, sincerely, and thank you to everyone who called in concern." It says in the caption on the video soundtrack with Nicki Minaj, super freaky girl, Hanna wrote, "Oh God, I was pretty, I'm guessing, effing nervous the whole time. Just because I have faith doesn't mean the unknown isn't scary. Oh, thank God we're alive. We're safe." It says prior to the LAPD's check-in, Hanna's most recent TikTok videos have shown her in various states of crying, screaming, and laughing, talking about a range of topics, including religion and death, and declaring herself the smartest person on earth. Several videos showed a message scrawled on her bathroom mirror in lipstick. Hanna previously said she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. It says, "Heaven is in earth, believe or don't, but if you do, you'd be real dumb to not tell everyone you know, enjoy, TBH." I believe that's to be honest. Jesus is literally here or not. You choose, I guess. It says, Hanna has posted TikTok clips claiming someone broke into her home. That came a few hours after she posted videos with a stranger who had shown up at her house, Nicholas, who told her he was lost and asked to use the bathroom. Hanna said a friend had texted her urging her to get the man out of her house. In the text overlay on the first TikTok video she posted on Thursday, Hanna wrote, "If he was going to attack me, thank you, my God, for giving me the honor of taking that bullet. My faith in you, my Lord, is why I will always show kindness to a stranger." She also said this man luckily had left behind fingerprints as well as his face and his name. Okay, here we go. Hanna has 7.5 million followers on her TikTok account, where she goes by Trauma Queen. I have 14 followers on my TikTok account, where I go as Deerwood Realty. You should follow me there. It says in July 2021, Hanna revealed police had come to her home for a wellness check after she posted a video of herself in the bathtub saying she would be going offline entirely. In a now deleted tweet, she wrote, "The police just came for a wellness check and I answered the door stoned, covered in paint and wearing only my underwear, and make sure your friends are okay shirt. I can't believe they didn't take me away." It says Hanna's representative did not respond to Variety's request for comment. On the agency side, she's represented by CAA. TikTok PR reps also did not respond to an inquiry. So CAA, let's see who that is. Let me go here. So CAA is Creative Agents. Wait a minute, I don't want to mess it up. Creative Artists Agency for talent, for brands, for enterprise. So what do they do? Well, they help your career. They negotiate on your behalf. They're agents. It says position at the nexus of talent, content, brands, technology, sports, and live events. CAA creates limitless opportunities for the storytellers, trendsetters, icons, and thought leaders who shape popular culture. So she signed with an agency. She's not, I think part of, and I'm not, look, I don't want you to think that I'm ripping on her. I think part of the problem that I have with the whole reality TV, social media, etc., is we all want to believe that this is just a simple girl or woman. I don't mean it in a negative way, you know, like her age, I believe she's 31. We all want to believe that these people are real, but they're being, they're being represented by probably one of the largest firms that there is. So let's keep going, because I think I didn't get to my point yet. I want to get to my point. It says TikTok star. Now you saw the picture of Gabbie in the other article. Now you have this one. She doesn't look the same. It says TikTok star Gabbie Hanna's page became a hub for a series of bizarre and emotional videos, clips that got her friends and fans so worried about her well-being they called the cops. It says she posted close to 100 videos of herself on Wednesdays. The videos, all a few seconds long, showed Gabbie in her home hysterically laughing, crying, yelling at times, declaring herself the smartest person on earth, and even claiming someone had broken in. Now, these pictures, I'm just going to say maybe they were the worst of the worst. Looks like she has a tattoo down her neck, but here she doesn't. I don't know, I don't know who chose these pictures. It says, LAPD sources tell us the disturbing videos led to an influx of calls from people worried about Gabbie's well-being and asking for officers to go check on her. I think of all the internet, of all the internet criticism, the fact that a community saw like something that they felt was not normal amongst the person that they follow and called the cops and said, hey, can you check on this lady? I thought that was a good thing. It says, we're told Gabbie greeted officers at her door and chatted for a few minutes before officers called for a psychological evaluation team. Now, that's a little odd because the story we heard in Variety says that they just showed up with the police, the psychological evaluation team. It says, our sources say medical professionals had a long chat with Gabbie and determined she didn't pose a threat to herself or anyone else, so they allowed her to remain in her home. We're told Gabbie has also given resources for the next time she might become upset. So apparently she was upset. As for what led to the wave of videos, it appears trolls on Gabbie's account may have played a role, recently mocking her for claiming she wanted to save the world. It says the post from Gabbie seemingly stopped after the police and psych team left her home. So I don't know. So there's that. I was just checking the chat. There's no one there. So then there's a New York Times, page 6. Who is Gabbie Hanna? What to know about the controversial TikTok star. So what should we know? It says YouTuber. Now, see, there's a picture of her and she doesn't look all messed up. It says, here's all you need to know. Okay, it says fans expressed worry for the 31-year-old social media star who previously revealed she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. In August 2022, because the clips featured a red message scribbled on a mirror and what appeared to be lipstick, she also claimed someone broke in her house in the midst of her many postings before suddenly going silent on the platform. Here's all you need to know. Why is she famous? Yes, I've never heard of this person, but they've got 7 million TikTok followers. It says Hanna rose to fame on social media in the early 2010s. She amassed around 5 million followers on Vine by uploading skits to the app, which allowed users to post 6-second videos until it shut down in 2016. And then turned her attention to the YouTube channel she set up in 2014 under the name The Gabbie Show, kind of like the Joe Realty Show, except not as off the rails. She went on to win the internet competition Dance Showdown before moving to Los Angeles and briefly working at BuzzFeed. It says her YouTube page, which currently has more than 5 million subscribers. Now, look, I have 98. I got another subscriber today. She has 5 million. I have 8. 98. Oh, I almost screwed that up. Continued to grow, and she was nominated for Choice Comedy Web Star at the 2019 Teen Choice Awards. So these are, in 2019, these are teens looking up to a, 28-year-old, 29-year-old at the time? Like, we all want to be like Gabbie. Says she also tried her hands at other ventures, including music and poetry. Hanna released a book of poems titled Adolescence in 2017 and debuted her single Out Loud around the same time. Came out with the second book, Dandelion, in 2020 and has continued to release music, including her 2022 album, Trauma Queen. Oh, there you go. That's a lot of... Hanna posted dozens of concerning clips to her TikTok account one day in August 2022. Many of the videos were about religion and seemed out of character for this social media influence. The problem with manic episodes is you feel great, better than you've ever felt. She needs a family member, friend to see her right now, wrote one viewer. While another person had, hey, Gabbie, I think it would be good to reach out to a loved one, spend some time with someone you love. Well, that's nice. It says, one of Hanna's latest posts shows her asking fans for prayers after claiming someone broke into her house. 3 hours earlier, however, she let in a stranger named Nicholas who said he felt lost and asked to use the bathroom. This is what her family said. Hanna's sister criticized fans who kept tagging her in a concerned comments about Gabbie's well-being. Although the commenters were looking out for Gabbie's best interests, Cecilia said her familiar situation was none of their business. I don't know about that. I mean, it's how close are you? Maybe you're not friends with your sister. I don't know. It says the video was filmed and posted a full day before anything was happening, or at least before we were aware. We were all in Pennsylvania and she is in LA. We're doing what can be done from here. At the end of the day, you're all strangers on the internet and it's none of your business, regardless of your level of concern. She's an adult. I'm a 20-year-old on the other side of the country. Well, now, that's pretty based. And the other thing, like, I'm just trying to put myself in this girl's shoes. Woman, 20 years old, I don't know what you want to go with. Like, she's probably living her life, right? Probably not a social media star. And now she's being tagged by all these people saying, hey, you better come get your sister. She's gone off the rails. And it's like, Now, the wording, we are doing what we can from here. At the end of the day, you're all strangers on the internet and it's none of your business, regardless of level of concern. So it's an interesting thing to say. It's none of your business. Like, so I'm just trying to work through it in my own head because it's a very fascinating thing. It's none of your business because you're a stranger on the internet. But to me, like, as a human being, if you see someone experiencing trauma, even as a stranger, shouldn't you try to reach out and help? See, this is where it gets, let's leave that thought right there where it is. It says Gabbie also received a wellness check after multiple people called the police on her. It says, what are some of her biggest controversies? Here she is. Seems to like to dye her hair. Gabbie is practically synonymous with scandal. One of her first controversies came in 2017 when she made a video about a former classmate who died of a drug overdose without consulting the girl's families first. She apologized in a follow-up video, but it certainly was not the last time she had to publicly take ownership for her mistakes. So I don't know about that one. Like, if you're like, now this may be a contrarian idea. Let's say someone that you know passed away and it caused trauma in your own life and you want to talk about it. Your life, there's definitely trauma in your life because of someone else dying. Are you not allowed to talk about it? You're not allowed to talk about it on social media. Not allowed to use it for clicks or likes. Where's the line there? It's like, so you ask the parents, like, hey, I'm going to use this for clicks or likes. Is it okay? Anyway, in 2018, she promoted a free set of makeup brushes that required customers to pay $10 for shipping. Several people claimed the brushes were poorly made and had started to shed after the first use or never even arrived in some cases. Rather than offering an apology, Gabbie blamed her audience in a response video. Interesting. So she said, are these amazing? High quality, can't even believe it, great brushes? No, I never said they were. I'm not sure what quality people were expecting when they paid $10 for 10 brushes. So that's interesting. She promoted a free set of makeup brushes that cost $10 for shipping. And then when they got the brushes, so they weren't free and they were crappy. I don't know about that one. I mean, I wasn't in 2018. I wasn't paying attention to Gabbie, so I'm not paying attention to her now. I'm just blown away by this whole thing. It says the following year, Gabbie allegedly told a fellow YouTuber her then boyfriend had herpes. Well, that wasn't nice. That just wasn't nice. And then says Gabbie was also forced to apologize after she tweeted, if I could be any animal, I'd be Beyonce. I'd be a Beyonce. Gosh, it says she became embroiled in another scandal when a creator named Jessie Smiles alleged that someone raped her in 2013. She also claimed that Gabbie had remained friends and continued to collaborate with the fellow, which led many to label her rape apologist. This is heavy. this is heavy. I mean, for me, like I wouldn't even talk about this stuff. It wouldn't even be something I would want to bring up in a video. I don't think. This is interesting. It says her most recent controversy came in April 2022 when she told her followers that taking up hobbies could help overcome depression. Well, I mean, you know, I think I've got like 4 people that watch my videos. So, I mean, if I said that, would it matter? I think it matters the scale. Like if you have 5 million followers and say anything, isn't that bound to cause someone to raise some eyebrows? It says, listen up, this advice is about to change your life. This tip is not for just overcoming depression. It's going to get you excited to wake up every day. She told viewers that if they started jet skiing or learning how to make rugs, they would never be sad again. You're sitting there depressed. You've never gotten on a jet ski and you want to. You've got nothing to live for. You've never jumped on a plane. You're sitting there like, I don't want to live. And you've never parasailed and you want to parasail, go parasail. Man, this is just, it says Gabbie hails from suburban Pennsylvania, where she grew up the third of 6 children. Her father's Lebanese, her mother's French Palestinian. What does that have to do with anything? She told BuzzFeed in 2021 that she had a tough upbringing and the family nearly fell into homelessness a few times. She graduated from the University of Pittsburgh in 2003 with degrees in psychology and communications. She was also a member of the Tri Sig sorority. I mean, what do you, okay, so here's like, let's just get to where I'm confused. Well, it's what I wanted to talk about. Okay. So let's say you have a mental illness. Okay. I mean, we're not talking about her per se. We're just talking about anyone. Can you imagine if your mental illness, especially one as severe as like being bipolar, is the reason why you're having so much success on social media? Like people are looking at you like you're a freak show, like a circus freak, and you've got a mental illness, and that's what's driving your success. How screwed up is that for anyone? And I mean, like I've watched videos before where I'm like, this person is clearly unstable. Like this is not okay. And I think like I've got a few videos out. I think I've got like, let's just guess maybe between 200 and 300 videos. And when you live stream for an hour, you're bound to say something stupid. But I've always kind of taken like when I'm feeling down, I'm probably not going to confess that I'm feeling down in front of all 3 of my fans, because I don't think that's what YouTube or anything is for, really. Like if I'm watching something on YouTube, I want to be happy. Like they talk about like fake Facebook, like Facebook happy, where like nothing ever goes wrong in your life and you're always going on vacations and everything's perfect. It's kind of like that in YouTube. Like whenever I'm angry or, out of sorts, I'm probably just going to not stream. Probably going to keep my mouth shut, because that's just kind of how I deal with things. And I'm not saying that there should be rules against, having mental disorders and being on social media. But I don't think that it helps. Like, I don't think that it helps the person. I don't know. It just, to me, it's like, this is a bad deal. I don't particularly like where this is going. And there was a South Park episode a while back where they're doing the Britney Spears one, and they're like, people just want her dead, like so that they could talk about it. And it was like, that was really poignant and a very good lesson out of South Park. And it's weird, like the whole social media thing is weird. When you have something go wrong, you need to post about it, because then you'll get more views. And I'm convinced, like lately, like, my channel's not going like I thought it would. Go figure. And I've seen people that have success, and sometimes it seems like if you frame things as always a negative and always something happened to you, people like to watch negativity. Case in point, Hoovie's Garage. People want to watch him buy a car that sucks, that he made a bad purchase. Why? I think because it's very relatable. But I think there's some like mean intent there. I think everybody's also happy that he's got money now and he can, go to all these car shows and have all these Ferraris and Lamborghinis. But at the same time, there is something there about this negativity. And what's strange is, like, for me, if I were to title all my videos as negative, it would just be like, it'd be hard to deal with. So the issues that I think I wanted to just point out is, if someone's having like issues, maybe being on social media is causing more issues for that person. And then how weird is it that people will want to watch someone melt down over someone that's not melting down? Like, why is that so fascinating? In human nature. So that's where I'm at on that. I hope that things work out for this woman. And yeah, pretty wild stuff. Okay, we're going to move on. I've said my piece. If you don't like what I said, put a comment in the comment section or just say it in chat. I'm totally good with that. I would think we could talk about it. I don't think it's secret. All right, let's go. Do you know what interest rates have been doing? They've been going up. I like to be at 5.5% or lower. We're at 5.81% yesterday, 5.84%. It's not where I want to be. Not where I want to be. I did have a lender price out a 30-year fix for me today, just with regular credit, decent credit, minimum down payment, 5.75. Not good. Not good, guys. Not good. The reason why is it's damn expensive to buy a house. And when that happens, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're not going to buy a house. And then people that are selling their house, they'll see like a neighbor sold their house for like, say, $280. And then you put your house on the market and no one's even looking at it for $250 and it's a better house. And you're like, well, what's going on? Interest rates. When rates were in the below 3, you could buy so much with, and now it's like, ugh. Okay. Then I wanted to get into this neighbor story because I thought this was fascinating. This came out of the Los Angeles Times. It says she tormented her Long Beach neighbors. It took a viral video to make them safe. I thought this was just very interesting the whole way around. It says every day when this fellow came home to his apartment complex in Long Beach, he'd say a little prayer. I'm praying this isn't the day she decides to shoot through her window. She's got the first appointment. She sees everything. I'm a sitting target. It says she is this lady, Mason's demon downstairs neighbor in a complex on East 2nd Street in Long Beach, who for months has terrorized him and other residents with racial taunts and late-night harassment. She was charged Monday with 6 counts of criminal threats, 1 count of violation of civil rights over her unneighborly behavior and other charges. Investigators also found a firearm in her apartment. Now, so look, this is what I wanted to discuss. And I missed one. Weird. Let me put that up because this was the second story that I was going to do. Let's go here. I'll be back. Please hold. Let's go there like that. Okay. Now we've got something to go on. So anyway, let's get back to this. So it says, but her arrest on August 12th by Long Beach police came months after residents had been calling police and property management to do something about this woman. Okay. So here's the thing. What if you live next door to this person? And if you did, they're harassing you. They're threatening to hurt you. They're always in your mix. This is not neighborly. This is not a good thing. It said he spearheaded the effort to stop the harassment that he and other residents were experiencing at the hands of Lake. And when nothing seemed to be done under the authorities, he took his complaints to social media, posting videos of Lake's menacing behavior. His video got picked up by a large TikTok account whose own video about Lake racked up nearly 500,000 views. So here we see the quote-unquote power of social media in one aspect. In the first, it looked like there might be exploiting some mental issues. This one here is calling attention to someone who may have mental issues and is causing fear amongst the community. It says, I keep seeing this more and more stuff like this pushed aside and endured until a bunch of people like myself posted online. And that's another issue. It's like we talk about perhaps like police body cams. Okay. And so that way we'll, once we have eyes on the situation, we can see how things are going, and then the police don't get away with anything. And, I'm uncomfortable that everything is recorded now, like everything. You go outside and you have to worry about being recorded, not because I'm doing anything wrong, but because I don't like to live in a surveillance state. Whether or not it's the government or the people surveilling you, it's still not cool. I don't like it. I don't feel like that's freedom. But like if this rider, apparently he's a rider, calls the police and says, hey, there's a woman threatening to kill me outside, do the police show up? I mean, do you have to have video of the incident and then post it on social media and hope that it goes viral just for the police to show up and do something? That's the world we live in. See, it's a very difficult thing. It says, after initially getting a bad vibe from Lake and keeping his distance, Mason became one of her main targets after he swept up glass that she had shattered for no reason in the complex's common space. She began threatening to kill him, spraying water into his apartment, drawing swastikas on papers, using racial slurs when speaking to him, and blasting music late into the night. He says, I got the sense that police and property management were waiting for me or someone else to die or get seriously injured before they took it seriously. Now, it's weird because you're in an apartment complex here, okay? Like if you were in a house and the person lived next door, you're still in a bad spot. You're waiting for something bad to happen just so that you can, quote unquote, solve the problem. Someone's going to have to get murdered. Someone's going to have to get, beaten just for something to happen to this person. It says the worst interaction came when Mason called 911 on Lake once, and she bit him, spit on him, and called him a racial slur. Now, that is not acceptable in our society, or it should not be. And yet it kept going. It says, this should go around your neck, Lake, who is white, said while holding a hose in one video Mason recorded. Then she calls him a racial slur. What are you videotaping for? The cops aren't going to do S. That's the one thing Mason and Lake agreed on. Mason said he called police definitely over 20 times, but nothing was done about Lake. Like, why not? I get this. I hear this from time to time, and always with law enforcement, especially the FBI, they always have an idea about the person before they commit the crime, at least in the last number of things. Why is that? How did they not? If the FBI knows about this person and they're just waiting for them to do something bad, and yet in other instances, they're actively trying to make people that are just randos do bad things. It's very, very strange. It's this world that we live in the United States in particular. It's been very weird in the past couple of years. I mean, very strange. It says the Long Beach Police Department told the Times on Thursday that it responded to the complex on several occasions, adding that it is working with the building's management company and providing outreach to residents. But this seems like, to me, this is a person that needs mental help. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. She's got problems, though. It says another resident called police numerous times after being threatened by Lake was generally brushed off. In one instance, police sent a social worker and Lake was put on a 72-hour psychiatric hold, but Lake came back to the apartment right after. And that's the other thing. Our mental health rules or laws don't seem to be doing anyone any favors. I have to cough. I don't know what can be changed. I mean, people have their rights. But I don't think you have a right to spit on someone or to squirt water in their apartment. Calling people names, whatever. It says even after she got a restraining order, Lake continued to harass her. Once Lake stood outside her door holding a sharp object. "Get me mad and I will hurt you." Police did arrest her for violating the restraining order on July 12th. This woman, I can't say her last name because I can't pronounce it, who's Latina, says she believed there was a racial element to Lake getting away for so long with her harassment. "It's so unfortunate knowing if the roles were switched, I feel in my heart it would have been different." So she's saying that she believes she is Latina, and if she were doing the things that this white woman were doing, she would be put into jail. She says things would have been different. It would have been bad. It would have sucked if that were true. It says Long Beach police arrested Lake early Friday, nearly 2 months after she filed for the restraining order. Police said that she had committing a restraining order violation, but she thanks Mason more than she does the police. "There would not have been any light to this if it wasn't for his video." I'll tell you what, like as a real estate agent, and I tell my buyers this all the time. Look, when you move to a house, like that's your only chance to get good neighbors, because eventually like they move out and then you're stuck with whoever moves in. Neighbors are so important. The podcast was called Neighbors. I mean, I don't know that it's dead, but it hasn't been done for quite some time because I've been kind of busy. But your life is like, we talk about communities and they're kind of fake communities. But then there's this, like when you live somewhere, you want all the neighbors to kind of get along. You want to feel like you belong in a space. I know a lot of people that I've helped find houses don't feel comfortable where they were currently living or where they were previously living. They said like they just didn't fit in there. There were things about them. And like I was in a neighborhood tonight where I wasn't in the right neighborhood for me. I would never live there. It was terrible. I don't know. But then you have this, and I feel like let's put the race on the back burner. Why is it okay for this kind of stuff to happen? What more does the police need to take care of? Like, I feel like let's do a racial thing. The Black and Latina feel like they had to do a video just for the police to do something. They felt the police weren't being responsive. Mental health is a real problem in the United States. I don't know what I don't know what's going to happen, but it's just right now, it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's move on to one more article. This came out when? August 18th. It says home sales fell nearly 6% in July as housing market slides into a recession. Not allowed to say recession because apparently that's the definition of 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, but that's not true now. It says these are the key points. Sales of previously owned homes fell nearly 6% in July compared with June. Sales dropped 20% from the same month a year ago. In terms of economic impact, we are surely in a housing recession because builders are not building. Doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. terms of economic impact, we are surely in a housing recession because builders are not building. Well, if you're going to say that there's still no inventory, that's true, but why is there no inventory? I'm saying right now that there's no inventory because people can't sell their homes and get anything of value in return if they want to move up. So like if they bought a $100,000 house, 2-bedroom home, for, like I said, for $100,000, and they want to buy a 3-bedroom home, the 3-bedroom home is like $400,000. It's like they could buy 3 of their houses for that. It doesn't make any sense. It says sales of previously owned homes fell nearly 6% in July compared with June. According to a monthly report from the National Association of Realtors, the sales count declined to a seasonally adjusted annualized rate of 4.81 million units, the slowest sales pace since November 2015, with the exception of a brief plunge at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. But let me just say this. This is over like every house that sells in the United States, everywhere. And so like where I'm working right now, prices are not really that bad. Like as far as like, I'm sorry, prices are terrible, but sales are not that bad. I mean, if you have a nice home, people will still make an offer on it for a good price. It says sales dropped about 20% from the same time a year ago. In terms of economic impact, we are surely, I just wanted to check something. Surely in a housing recession because builders are not building. However, are homeowners in a recession? Absolutely not. Homeowners are still very comfortable financially. It doesn't make any sense. It says the July sales figures are based on closing, so the contracts were likely signed in May and June. And it was super busy in May and June here in St. Louis, so I don't want to hear about this. Mortgage rates spiked higher in June, with the average rate on a 30-year fixed rate costing 6%. It settled back into the 5% range. The rates are this year around 3%, so the hit to affordability in June was hard, especially with soaring inflation. That's true. Home buyers are still contending with tight supply. That's exactly right. There are 1.31 million homes for sale at the end of July, unchanged from July of 2021. The current sales pace, that represents a 3-month supply. While demand is falling off due to weaker affordability, prices remain stubbornly high. The median price of a home sold in July was $403,000, an increase of 10% over year. Price gains are now moderating, though, as this is the smallest annual rise since 2020. So what? They rose 10% year over year. They've rose like 30% in the last 2 years. It's bad. It says the median home sales price continued to climb, but at a slower pace for the 5th consecutive month, shining light on how downshifting buyer demand is moving the housing market back towards a normal pace of activity. I don't agree with that, but fine. And a look of active inventory trends shows that home listings were nearly twice as likely to have had a price cut in 2022 compared to 1 year. Yeah, but they were listing their houses for even more stupid money than the ones that sold the year before. Sales activity continues to be stronger on the higher end of the market, although that too is fading fast. There's simply more supply available on the top tiers. Sales of homes priced between $100,000 and $250,000 were 31% lower compared with the year before, while sales of homes priced between $750,000 and $1 million were down 8%. Sales of home priced above $1 million fell 13% from a year ago. This is totally not what I'm seeing, though. Other than the people that are buying houses between $100,000 and $250,000 are getting smoked. Like they have really gotten the shaft. First-time buyers represented just 29% of July's buyers in July. Historically, they make up about 40% of sales, but they are clearly struggling the most with affordability. Absolutely. High rents are also making it harder for them to save for a down payment. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just terrible. It says even as sales slow, this is still a fast-moving market. Typical homes in July went under contract in just 14 days, which matches the fastest ever recorded in June. 1 year ago, it was 17 days. Yoon called that unusual. It's not unusual if you see it from my point of view. I don't think that, no offense to Lawrence Yoon, I've met Lawrence Yoon. I've seen him. No offense to him, but he doesn't sell houses every day. And he couldn't. He wouldn't have time. He's busy doing economics. You know, he's doing his spiels across the United States. Nothing against him. Understand this. But he cannot possibly know what it's like to be a real estate agent in 2022 in the market. Because what you're seeing now is even more strange than before. You're seeing all these articles written about how there's a recession in housing. Yet you go, like I went to this house today. There were 3 people at the showing. Okay, 3 other people. And one of them's going to write an offer on the house. We're not. And they're going to write it above asking. The house will be gone on Monday. And I have to hear about how the market's collapsing. That's not a collapse. I mean, believe it or not, when I used to list houses back in the day, it was not unusual for a house to be on the market 14 days or more before you even got one offer. There was none of this, the house sold in a day for 50% over asking. That didn't happen. So, everyone's saying, well, you got to build more houses. You got to build more houses. We need more inventory. But what to me, that's not so much the problem as it is what I was trying to explain earlier. It's the value proposition. Like myself, I'm 40 years old. Okay. If I want to buy a house to move up, I'm going to be in the $500,000 range. And I don't want to be in the $500,000 range. That's ridiculous for a home for me in my situation and the way I see the world. So I think that many, many people are thinking like I am. Look, I can't move up without spending a fortune. And so why would I? And I'm sitting on, like, in theory, I'm sitting on a ton of equity just for holding on to the house. I mean, if you bought a house in 2007 at the top of the market right now, at the top of the market then, you're still not underwater. I mean, you've still got equity in your home. It's amazing. So that's where I'm at on that. What would I do? What would I do with the housing? Well, I think, this is me, I think the housing is inflation. It's the purest form of showing you what inflation is. Like, do you really seriously believe that your house is worth $10,000 more over the course of a month solely because you lived in it? That's inflation. Our dollar is worth nothing and is continuing to go down because inflation is eating everyone alive. And no matter how many bills the United States government advances that say inflation reduction, inflation, those aren't bills for inflation. Anytime you give people more money, it's going to cause inflation. More printed money will cause inflation. The value of the dollar continues to go down. Your purchasing power, in terms of purchasing power, right? There's a squeeze going on in the world where the dollar's worth way more than it normally is. I don't know how long that's going to continue. In theory, you don't want a strong dollar because then you can't export anything. But we've lost most of our exporting ability to China. Because anyway, let's just stick with the thing. I don't think that building more housing right now solves the inventory problem. I think that value in the marketplace will solve that problem, and I don't know how you're going to get there when you keep having runaway inflation. So, bottom line, John, what are you doing, John? Tell me what you're going to do about your buyers. If you want to buy a house right now, I say, look, you're going to have to buy. If you buy this house, just know that this is going to be a house you got to be in 5 years, 10 years. Maybe you'll be whole at that point in time, but don't dare buy a house right now and then expect to sell it next year for a profit. And just, that's not a good plan. And then on the sales side, it's like, look, put it out, get your house in good shape and put it out there to sell. It's still a strong enough market where you're going to do better. And you say, well, John, last month I could have made 35% more and now it's only going to be 30%. Well, yeah, but you're still ahead 30%. Sell. This is what I say to my buyers and sellers. I wouldn't tell you any. I mean, like, if you had a different scenario, maybe we could talk about it, but this is kind of the way I'm positioned right now. And you say, well, John, you're just trying to create a sense of urgency. I don't really, how am I trying to, I don't know anything about your deal. I'm telling you what I'm telling my people, and I know their situations. Anyway, well, we've made it through. I feel like the hour went fast. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you watch it later, hope you enjoy watching it later. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you should put it in the comment section, or you should just hang out with me on chat. You can email me at media@deerwoodrealtystl.com. It's in the description. Nobody's ever emailed me, but if you want to, I mean, I'm here. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to head out. I'm going to watch some TV, and I'm going to go to sleep. Get up tomorrow and fight the battle, fight the good fight again. Thank you for watching. Good night.